Welcome to the Curtis RCS Cab for the Polaris Ranger. This video is for demonstration purposes only. Please read and understand the instructions before installing your cab. Prepare the vehicle by removing and discarding the front cage bolts. Remove and discard the top cage bolts. Install P-clamp to upper rear corner of the outer cage tube. Orient so the flat is facing outward. Orient the top mount as shown. Clean the underside of the rubber grip with an ammonia-based cleaner. Cut the expandifoam to 26.5 inches and adhere along the entire outer edge of the top mount. Install the P-clamp to the upper front corner of the outer cage tube. Orient so the flat is facing upward. Install the P-clamp to the upper rear cross tube. Orient so the flat is facing forward. Using a large screwdriver or drift pin to align the holes in the cage, install one double hole spacer into the inboard oval recess. Install the top mount with the large notch forward to clear the front cross tube. The expandifoam should seal all along the outer top edge of the cage tube. Install two supplied 3/8 by 2 inch long button head bolts with washers under the heads from the inside through the mount, spacer, cage, and into the nylock nut. Do not tighten. Install one 5/16 by 1.25 inch long button head bolt down through the top forward hole in the top mount and P-clamp. Fix with washer and lock nut. Install one 5/16 by 1.25 inch long button head bolt forward through the P-clamp and into the clip nut in the rear of the top mount. Install one double-holed spacer on the outboard oval recess. On the inboard oval recess, install one 3/8 lock nut on the bottom and one single hole spacer on the top of the nut. Install the driver's side front mount as shown. You may need to spread the tab slightly and compress the vehicle cage joint together to facilitate installation. In the top hole from the outside, install a 3/8 by 2 3/4 inch long button head bolt with washer through the striker mount, double hole spacer, cage, single hole spacer, and striker mount again. Use a washer and lock nut on the inboard side. In the lower hole from the outside, install a 3/8 by 2 inch long button head bolt with washer through the striker mount, double hole spacer, cage, and into the captured lock nut. Install a P-clamp as shown on the lower front cage tube. Orient so the flat is facing toward the center of the vehicle. From the inside, install 5/16 by 1.25 inch long button head bolt with washer through the striker mount and P-clamp. Fix with washer and lock nut. While pushing the mount towards the center of the vehicle, tighten all bolts. Tighten all bolts on the top mount. Repeat all previous steps for the passenger side. Install the windshield by lowering the top pins into the top mount front receiving slots. Rotate the bottom of the windshield backward and engage the lower latches onto the striker mount pins. The hole for the upper pin is slotted and adjusts forward and up or backward and down. The pin is slotted and adjusts up and down to provide a better seal to the hood. The latch adjusts forward and backwards. Each latch should engage 2 clicks and still seal along the hood and cage tube. Temporarily remove the 2 Torx screws from the seat back. Install the driver's side rear panel mount between the plastic seat back and the metal seat support lining up the slots with the holes in the seat. Reinstall the torque screws. Repeat for the passenger side. With the dump bed raised, install the supplied self-adhesive hook Velcro 14 inches up the back of each rear cage tube. Then continue the Velcro across the lower frame as shown. Install the rear panel by lowering the top pins into the top mount rear receiving slots. Rotate the bottom of the rear panel forward and engage the lower latches onto the pins. Adhere the rear curtain to the newly installed Velcro. Adjust the lower pin mounts in and out, up and down as required. Install the roof by lowering the front pins into the top mount inboard L-shaped slots and sliding forward. Lower the rear latches to engage on the top mount inboard pins. When sliding the roof forward, the front bolt-on bracket should engage under the rubber trim of the windshield. Pull and stretch the rubber T-handle strap into its receiver bracket. Install the driver's side hinge plate mount as shown with the 5/16 18 by 1 inch long button head bolt with washer from the front. Fix from the rear with a washer and lock nut. Using a straight edge to bridge the front and rear outside cage tube, make sure the outer flange of the hinge plate mount is just inboard of flush. Tighten bolts. Replace the lower cage tube bolt and nut shown with the 5/16 18 by 2 3/4 inch long hex head bolt with washer, keeping the bolt head forward. Leave approximately 1/2 inch gap between the cage tube and the washer bolt head. Install the hinge plate by first hooking the closed slot in the lower flange over the threaded end of the newly installed bolt. Then rotate around the cage tube and engage the open slot onto the bolt between the washer and the tube. Install 3 5/16 18 by 1 inch long button head bolts with steel and plastic washers from the outside into the remaining holes. The top bolt goes through the upper P-clamp and the middle two bolts go through the hinge plate mount. Fix with washers and lock nut. Press hinge plate inwards against the cage tube and tighten all bolts. Repeat for passenger side. Grease the door hinge pins and install into the hinge sleeves on the hinge plate. Attach supplied gas shock with orange quick release tab on the ball stud in the top mount and connect the other end of the ball stud on the door. Loosen the two upper bolts on the outside of the door and the door latch adjusts front to back. Remove the plastic cover, loosen the flathead Phillips bolts and the latch adjusts in and out. Loosen the hinges and the door adjusts up and down. The striker pin also adjusts up and down. After all adjustments are made, the acorn nut adjusts in and out. There should be at least a 1 mm gap between the acorn nut and the latch release. This cab features a quantum-coated polycarbonate windshield that has a locked close position, lock vent position, and fully open position supported by dual gas shocks. Periodically inspect all components and hardware. Replace or retighten as necessary. Please refer to the cab instructions for care and maintenance tips. One Curtis accessory available for the Polaris Ranger is the 20,000 BTU heater. This unit is equipped with the dash mount defroster vent. Also available is the quick attach 6-foot plow. It is offered as a tapered poly plow as shown or as a straight blade steel plow. This plow operates off your Ranger's winch. It features a limit switch that controls the height the plow is raised. Other Curtis accessories available for the Ranger include the windshield wiper, work lights, and strobe light. We hope you enjoy your Curtis RCS cab, and from all of us at Curtis Industries, thank you.